Welcome, guys. Is another episode of the Neutral Corner. It's Danny Glover, proudly sponsored by Treasure Boxing Club, and today we're just doing a quick roundup. Welcome, guys. It's another episode of the Neutral. So yeah, what happened? Meant to have a guest. They didn't come through. They said they was going to send someone else. They didn't. That person didn't show up either. So, it's not good when people do this. We're a small channel trying to grow. People just got to be honorary to their word. Booked them in from 3 weeks ago. Got to pay for the studio equipment. I don't like to moan and that, but people just keep it a buck. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't burn bridges and stuff like that. But yeah, so today we're just going to do a quick wrap up, get some news out there, get some content, so hopefully enjoy. I know it's a bit different to the usual setup, but yeah. So first of all, we're going to talk about Dan Aziz and Buatsi. So that's been officially signed and sealed. People are talking about, why didn't Buatsi and Dan Aziz, or Dan Aziz mainly, go for the Bivol shot, because he was the latest person who got the offer for Bivol and he decided to take the Buatsi fight. I've heard that, Ben Shalom forked up good enough money to Dan's fault. This is a good fight. Some people are like, but it's a risk. What if he loses, he doesn't get shot? But the thing is, if you go into the Bivol fight on the back of beating Joshua Buatsi, you would have great momentum. You'd be active. Bivol's been out for nearly a year now. By the time he gets a fight with someone like Dan Aziz, or the winner of Aziz and Buatsi, so he's cleaned up, got all the belts, European, no other accolades to do. Then fight someone like Buatsi, who's considered the number one in Britain. Dan Aziz is the underdog. You do that, you go in there full of confidence, and it's setting you up in the right path to actually go and fight someone like Dimitri Bival. Do you know what I mean? So it makes perfect sense to me, and it's a good fight. Hopefully they don't stage it in Brighton, though. They stage it in somewhere in London. It makes more sense. Both South London guys, makes total sense. So yeah, I had a few debates about that. Everything's boxing. He was, playing a bit of a devil's advocate, but as I say, be an advocate for God out here. Latest news from last night's results and Friday, Diego Pacheco, he fought, we're going to get, where is it? So Diego Pacheco, he fought Manuel Gallegos, dropped him in the fourth round. I saw that. They was in an exchange and he hit him with a body shot. Then in, what round was it? Because I saw that, because I was working mad late. So in the fourth round, he managed to stop him. And then also Gerard Anderson, he fought Villa. I thought I was going to go to points, but he ended up taking him out in the 10th round. Villa missed a right hook. Gerard Anderson countered over the top, stunned him, hit him again. He dropped. Ref jumped in. Good win. That's an IBF eliminator, but as we know, that doesn't really count for much, because the belts are all tied up now for at least 12 to 18 months. With Spence and Crawford, obviously, their fight, plus there'll be a rematch clause activated. There could all be a trilogy. So, yeah, so Geronimo, he just has to keep plugging away, just like the rest of them. And when those two move up, because Terence Crawford said he's looking to move up and fight Jamel or whoever, Spencer said he's looking to move up after these fights. So they'll both be gone. Belts will get vacated. And Geronimo will definitely fight for a portion, i.e. the IBF, which is probably the hardest one to fight for. And I mean, only in the sense of that you have to do the rehydration clause in that belt. It used to be £10, now it's £12. But for someone like Gerard Anderson, who, very big for the weight, could be a light middle or middleweight, is the hardest one to go for in that sense. But Emantis Stanionis, I feel bad for him. He's had 3 fights where they've pulled out Virgil Ortiz due to his medical illness. He needs to go and see some kind of scientist, and they need to do some real tests on him and examine if he's even fit to box anymore, or if he'll have to just call it time on his whole career. Oscar De La Hoya's tweeted, 154, but it might be something even more than, it might be something worse than that. It might not be, because you got to think on fight week, what is he weighing? He's tapering down, so he hasn't even made it to the weigh-in yet. So it's not like he's got to 147 and he's collapsing. He could be all 150, 151, 152, and he's collapsing. So what's 154? He could be collapsing at 154 still. So that doesn't mean that that's automatically the solution and the answer to his problems. So and you're also going to have to do a lot of check weigh-ins with this guy, Virgil Ortiz, to see how he's doing the weight, how he's feeling, how he's performing. There must have been signs in the gym. He must have had days where he's saying, I don't feel too good, but sometimes when you have your father behind you, he's depending on you, you're the breadwinner of the family, you might feel pressurized, and you either don't speak up or you don't exert your problems and stresses as much as you should do. But all well wishes to Virgil Ortiz. I hope he gets well. If he can resume his career, then good on him. If he can't, then just call it quits, because the last thing you need is to go in there with someone like Stanionis or a rough and tumble type guy, and you end up losing your life, unfortunately, because you shouldn't be in the ring, and then everyone will be screaming up in arms, you should have saw the signs, this guy's been in hospital, this guy's fainting, he's had 3 times where he's had to pull out and he's been on the floor and end up hospitalized. So you definitely don't want a fatality on your hands when it comes to Virgil Ortiz. It's bad enough when these surprise ones happen, do you know what I mean? Because then boxing will really be under the slammer. So I feel bad for Emantis Stanionis, not got work, do you know what I mean? I also feel bad for Ammo Williams, Felix Cash. He's not fighting Ammo Williams again, so he's had his time wasted for 3 times in a row now, unfortunately. News has come out that Tony Sims and Felix Cash have parted ways. I'm sure the story of that will come out in due course. I know a bit more, but we'll leave that to come out in its respectful time. But well wishes to Felix Cash in his future endeavours. Hopefully he can find a new trainer and get his career back on track. If not, then best of luck to him. I see Ashley Fearfane, he bumped into Conor Benn recently. They shared some nice words. They was on a collision course, even though Ashley Fearfane, the sponsor of the show, he was on the twilight end of his career. Conor Benn was on the ascendancy, on the come up. They met. Conor Benn said he'll be back soon, and it's good to see that support and that's being shown to Conor Benn. So big ups to Conor. Also in other news, Shakur Stevenson, he's turned down a fight with Devin Haney. He got offered a 75-25% split. I'm seeing a lot of civilians, a lot of armchairs, a lot of casuals crying, taking a liberty. No, that's not fair. That's not a serious offer. Man's trying to mug him. No. He don't want to fight. He don't want to fight Shakur. Shakur will beat him up. Let me tell you something right now. See, this is why you got to know the history of boxing, the annals of history. So let me tell you something. That is a normal offer. That is all he's worth, Shakur Stevenson. He has no belt. Yes, he's moved up. He was a champion, a unified champion in the weight below. He weren't undisputed, though. Devin Haney's had to do all the dirty work at 135, go over to Australia into a complete different time zone, fight George Kambosos. And do you know what that split was? 78-22 to Kambosos. Kambosos got 78%. Devin Haney took 22%. Yeah? Got the belts. That's what happens. Let me give you another historical fact. Oscar De La Hoya versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. What do you think the split was there? 70-30 to Oscar De La Hoya. Floyd Mayweather took 30%. Because you know why? To be the man, you've got to beat the man. To be the A-side, you've got to beat the A-sider. If you really believe in yourself, this is not like Shakur and Devin are like 33, 34-year-olds and they got to clamour the money and get it all whilst now. These guys are both in their early 20s. So if Shakur can beat Devin taking his 25%. And by the way, if it goes to purse bids, where Shakur and Devin are both under Bob Arum currently, so if it goes to purse bids, guess what happens? It's 75-25% split, because that's what the champion gets, 75% standard on if a purse bids 1, the challenger gets 25. That's standard etiquette. So he's offered him the standard deal. So that's what he would get if it goes to purse bids anyway. And, you know, if Bob's such a lovely guy, if Shakur's not happy, why won't he subsidise him the rest and top up his 25% a piece? But, you know, Bob ain't trying to fork out, you know. But, hey, blame Devin in here, eh? Blame the dream, because I noticed Devin gets a lot of flack. People talking about, he's got, what's he wearing, these grills and these gold teeth grills. Hey, last time I checked, gold grills have been going out for a hot hour now. Weren't Jack Johnson had a mouth full of gold teeth back in the day? Hey? And he was fighting when it was all like black and white. So no one had a problem with that. He was a maverick driving around big fur coats, gold teeth, flashing the living the life, and he gets revered and talked about in high esteem. But poor old little Devin, he has a bit of gold teeth, you know, and he's getting flack for it. He ain't even a bad guy. He's a good kid, raised by his dad and stuff, stayed in boxing. He ain't got a criminal record. But, you know, just hate on Devin, just for the sake of hate, because that's the narrative the media push. Some of you guys, you need to stop just watching a bit of Talk Sport and reading a little Michael Benson and thinking about boxing. So that is a fair deal. Shakur Stevenson needs to take his 25% or just move on. Unfortunately, that's not a rip-off. He's not getting shortchanged. He's not getting lowballed. But Devin will probably go up anyway. Fight Rodriguez Prograis for the 140 title. And let's remember, when people saying it should be 60-40, okay, so if it's 60-40, Devin has to pay 3% to each sanctioning body, each governing body for each belt. WBO, IBF, WBA, WBC. That's 12%. Take off 12% off of that 60. Then what's he really left? That's 12% off his purse. Whilst, you know, Shakur, he ain't got no belts. So you have to think about why it's 75-25 to the man who's holding 4 belts. He's having to fork out all the sanctioning fees. But are you taking that into consideration? Hey? And that's before the taxman gets in. That's before the MOT, National Insurance, comes in. That's before he pays his trainer. That's before he pays his dietitian. That's before he pays his manager. That's before he pays the house fee to the promoter. Hey? Are you thinking about these people's finances? Think about the big picture. Study this game. Learn about boxing. Yeah? So, yeah, hope you learned something there. Leave your opinions and comments in the comment section. If you say I'm cooking or you think I'm talking rubbish, let me know. In other news, Gerard Anderson, a lot of people talking about, he's overhyped. He went the distance. Okay, so you go the distance. So when Mike Tyson went the distance with Mitch Green, was he a hype job? When Ali went the distance for the first time, George Foreman. People were too hyped on this knockout streak thing. Like, what's his name? Edgar Berlanga. You can't knock out everybody, unfortunately. Remember, Charles Martin is now a wily old veteran. Gerard Anderson is 23 years old. Charles Martin is 37. So he's a wily old fox. He got dropped, by the way, in that fight. So Gerard Anderson dropped Charles Martin. He didn't get dropped himself. Yeah, he got buzzed a couple of times. But guess what? You've got to show some form of adversity. There's no point just blasting through people, not getting wobbled, not going the distance at some point where you don't get no rounds under your belt, and then you go into a world title fight and you haven't checked any boxes, and then you get exposed. Oh, you're hype. He's got padded record, paper fights, all bums, tomato cans, da. But when these guys do go through some tests, let's remember Tyson Fury, he got dropped by Nevin Pajic, a guy who had 3 KOs in about 25 fights. He got dropped by cruiserweight Steve Cunningham on the way up as well. He got wobbled multiple times by fat John McDermott. He also got wobbled by Derek Chisora in their first fight. So people ain't talking about that, but now look at Tyson Fury now, because he's been through these adversity. This is why when he got dropped by Deontay Wilder, he's able to raise up like Undertaker, because he's been on the canvas before. He knows what it's like. It's not the first time he's been on the canvas. So he ain't looking at his corner thinking, what do I do now? He knows what it feels like to get wobbly. He knows what it feels like to get stunned. He knows what it feels like when your ankles have got pins and needles in them. So this is a good learning fight for Gerard Anderson. Been 10 rounds, fought a good pace, dropped his opponent, got hurt a couple of times, only lost 1 round out of 10. So, and he scored a 10-8 round in there as well, by the way. So what more do you want against a former world champion? Yes, he won a world title because the guy took a step and had a freak accident, broke his knee. But the guy's been in there with the likes of Anthony Joshua. He's knocked out Gerald Washington. He's been in with Adam Kaunaki when Kaunaki was Kaunaki. Gerard Anderson, 23 years old, ain't got his full man strength yet. You can see by the size of them, Charles Martin was a lot bigger than him physically, man versus boy. And Gerard came through flying colours. And he's, he needs to sort out a bit of his emotions. But for a young guy, I think he did very well. Also, let's get some other news quickly, if we can. Yep, we've got, as well as, we dropped the exclusive in the last episode, thanks to my guy Eddie, part 258. He dropped when the AJ White 2 fight would be announced, etc. And then that same day, what we didn't know was the Dubois Usyk one is been announced as well for, that's in August as well, ain't it? So yeah, that fight's in Poland. I'm looking to try and go out for that one. Daniel Dubois, young guy, Usyk, had a bit, not very active, 36 years old. Daniel's going to be up against it, but we're rooting for the South East Londoner. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. And, let us know your thoughts of all the predictions. Still waiting on, is Deontay Wilder going to fight Andy Ruiz? I haven't really heard anything about that. Last time I heard, it's probably still negotiating. But now Wilder and Ruiz are seeing everyone else's, build up. Even, what's his name? Even Tyson Fury and Garner's been signed or whatever they're doing. So Wilder and Ruiz, you don't want to be left out in the cold. And then come December, Ruiz ain't even got nothing lined up for the end of the year because Filip Hrgović has got lined up for Fury in December on the Saudi show. So what's Ruiz going to do? If he doesn't take the Wilder fight, what's he really going to do? He ain't got nothing. At least Wilder has got the December fight, even though you don't really want to go into the December fight on the back of the Hellenius thing last year. It's not really like, what was it, 1 round? It's not really the best activity, going into an AJ fight who's going to be going in with, was it 12 rounds with Jermaine Franklin, or was it 10? And then Dillian White, solid fight still. You know what I mean? So you're going to need some momentum going in there, Wilder. But, coming up next week, we've got the rematch of Alicia Baumgartner versus Christina Linardatu. Linardatu beat Alicia Baumgartner a few years back on points. Gave Alicia her only defeat of her career. Linardatu's serious. They didn't pass her for, some eye thing against Kayla Mayer over here a few months back. But it's good to see Alicia Baumgartner's got a rematch. I expect her to win on points. And get that get back, as D Styles you like to say. So I'm looking forward to that one. Who else? Frank Martin, he's back in action next week as well. Who else have we got back in action on the 15th? I think that's the main stuff really for next week. Let me just double check, guys. World. Let me just double check. Sorry about this. Maybe I'm having to freestyle this one for you. Hold on. Yeah, Frank Martin versus Etim Harutan Yuyan. That's a hard name to pronounce, boy. But yeah, that's a 12-round fight at lightweight. We've got Elvis Rodriguez versus Victor Postel on the undercard. So that's going to be good. We've got George Kambosos versus Maxie Hughes. Out in Florida, isn't it? Fire Lake Arena. So I expect George Kambosos to beat Maxie Hughes, but that's a good fight. We've got, that's on the 22nd. But yeah, we've got Frank Martin, Showtime, and any UK fights for the 15th? Nope. But yeah, that's about it, really. So, yeah, I know it's a short one, but we've got to keep putting that content out for you guys. And thank you for all your support. We're on about 905 subscribers right now. We're trying to get to 1,000 to get monetized. Then we can start doing some perks, and we'll do when we get to 1,000, we'll run a competition. Probably, do a competition for tickets to a fight or buy a pay-per-view for you guys. Oh, talking about pay-per-view, lastly, Anthony Joshua and Dillian White. I see my boy G Chain. He was crying something fierce today, boy. He's talking about the price. But I help you for the right price, but you need to swallow your pride because you're not ready. Your hood's nice. So they're saying that the pay-per-view is what, £47. Yeah. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm not mad about that is because DAZN warned you. Remember, this is more of a US model, this DAZN platform, rather than a UK one. This 20 quid thing weren't really going to last forever when you got Americans paying $85, $99. Now, DAZN said, get the package for a year for £99, and you get your pay-per-views free. If there is a mega fight, you might pay a score, you might play a pony, But if you ain't subscribed, then you're paying something mad for certain fights, you're paying something mad for certain pay-per-views. So if you ain't a subscriber, then you ain't bought your annual package, yeah, like my boy Base the Kid did, then you're gonna have to pay your 50. You're gonna have to pay a bullseye. So you're gonna have to hold that. So because you got to remember, you're still not even getting done that bad compared to the Americans. They're paying $225 a year per annum, compared to England, UK, we pay £99. Now, last time I checked, £99 is $127. So, last time I checked, what was it? $225. Let me just get this up for you. $225 is £175 a year subscription. You see what I'm saying? And remember, they're mainly focusing on the Golden Boy cards because they're American. That's their time zone. They ain't even, Matchroom do better shows, but they ain't really into the Matchroom thing like we are. Do you know what I mean? Because Eddie is more, he's more for us because he's UK based. So who's really getting the short straw? Who's really getting the tough end? I feel sorry for our guys overseas, So don't be complaining. Buy the pay-per-view, get your popcorn, or get a ticket and head down to the O2 Arena, or just pay the pay-per-view, £47. You know what I mean? Or subscribe, and then that way you can get your other stuff. This is a warning shot for you guys, because Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, I know in America they're going to pay $100. We're probably getting that for free over here. I highly doubt, unless Fight TV get it, and then you pay what, a little £15, £20, but that's about it really. So yeah, guys, that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, share to get the algorithms popping. Leave a comment in the comment section to get the algorithms popping. Hit that thumbs up button. It doesn't cost you anything. Get the algorithms popping. Hit that notification bell because some of you haven't been getting your notifications. I spoke to a couple people just yesterday and last week. They said that they haven't seen certain shows because they're going to hit the notification bell, ding ding. So be sure to tune in to further shows of the Neutral Corner podcast, brought to you by Fightfantv Live, sponsored by Treasure Boxing Club. Ashley Fairfane, he's trying to sort out his page as well. Someone hacked him, but bad mind, red eye, bad mind, grudgeful people out here. But we move, and I hope some of you also show some love. I was there bodyguarding Valiant on Friday, big show in the O2 Indigo, Gluck Farty and all that. So yeah, man, and get down to Dean White's show as well on July 29th down at the Tolworth Recreational Centre. So yeah, that's it. It's another episode of the Neutral Corner. It's Danny Glover. And remember, guys, persistence beats resistance. You know where it is.